So today presenting is actually another Lindsay. This is Lindsay Weber. She is the assistant director over at purchasing for Texas A&M AgriLife Administration Services. So she is, when I was starting off in administrative services, she was my go-to person if I had questions on AggieBuy. So I really appreciate her coming on and being willing to give this presentation to us to kind of talk to us about some things with AggieBuy and what administrative services is, how they're helping us with the utilization of this tool. So no further introductions. Obviously, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat and the recording will be posted at a later date, but I'll turn it over to Ms. Weber.
Thank you, Lindsay. As Lindsay said, I am Lindsay Weber. That's a lot of Lindsays all at once there. Today's session is on taking the stress out of AggieBuy, and nothing could be less stressful than this little puppy dog, so I had to throw it out there on the first slide for y'all. So let's get straight into it. What is AggieBuy? AggieBuy is a web-based e-commerce system. It was developed in partnership between Texas A&M University and Jagger. So the university went on to the system first, and then we kind of followed along in their footsteps. We let them work all the kinks out, and then we jumped in once everything was kind of up and running fairly smoothly. And this program replaces the purchasing functionality that was previously done through Famous, or if some of y'all were here, you may remember the Buy A&M program. Most people don't like to refer to that period of time. It was not pleasant. It was not fun. AggieBuy is much more user-friendly, easy to work through, easy to follow. This program also allows invoices and payment requests to be processed through it, and it fully integrates into Famous. So Famous now kind of acts as the back end. It does all of our encumbrances, things like that, but AggieBuy is the pretty outward-facing system that we use. So you'll see here on the screen down at the bottom, this black and red and blue, very old school computer look. That is Famous. And we've now moved into what's up at the top, which is our AggieBuy platform, which looks much more like your standard online shopping that you do every day. So a few of those benefits of the program, obviously, like I said before, it's very user-friendly, it's intuitive, it has a lot of built-in workflows and approvals for routing, so that things that used to be a manual process are now integrated in. It's also a one-stop shop for a lot of our suppliers. So there's no need to go out to multiple vendors' websites to order your items. A lot of that stuff is already preloaded into AggieBuy for us. We also have, like I said before, it's similar to our online shopping sites that you do personally, Amazon, things like that, where you're used to putting items in a cart, going to the checkout, entering your account information and sending off your order. AggieBuy kind of works that same way. We have realized real cost savings by implementing this program. Excuse me. We have a lot of contracts that are preloaded into AggieBuy. So we've got cooperative contracts we can take advantage of, as well as A&M system-wide contracts, or maybe even specific contracts that are relevant to your department. Those are all in the system for you. Quicker turnaround times. So those preloaded contracts that we have, those actually do not route to us for approval, regardless of the dollar amount on them. The mentality behind that is that all of those terms and conditions, pricing, that sort of thing has already been worked out with those companies. So we don't need to see those orders here in purchasing. We're not adding any value to those. So we allow those to flow through the system without stopping in our office. These requisitions budget check and route for approval through predetermined workflows. And again, that just improves that routing process time, things that used to be done manually, going to your department head, getting a signature, going to your business office, getting them to give you an account to put a purchase on. That's all done in the system. You submit your order and it goes out the door for you to the next step. Invoicing is centralized. So now instead of all the invoices going out to everyone at the departments, those all come here to main campus, and our disbursements office enters those into the system for you. And that minimizes those paper invoices. We've seen a lot of paper invoices go away. People enter them electronically via email into our system, and we process them through. And AggieBuy also provides greater spend visibility, reporting, analysis. Since everything is done in one system now, we're able to pull a lot more spend information and really be able to use that to determine, where we might need to set up a contract. If we see that we're doing a lot of volume purchasing in a certain area or with a certain vendor, we can see that information and decide maybe we need to set up a contract in order to improve that process for the departments. So a few frequently asked questions that we get, who can use AggieBuy, who can place orders in there? And the answer is anyone who has access into SSO can go into AggieBuy and place orders. So you don't have to go to your department business office for them to place the order for you. You as a shopper can actually go in, enter in the items that you want to purchase, hit submit. And if you don't have an account number, that sort of thing, that's okay. That routes to your department business office. They add in an account number, check over all the information you entered in, and then they approve it and submit it to the next step in routing. So you don't have to be worried about, you don't have to be tentative about entering an order and thinking it's just going to go straight out to the vendor. It does stop along the way for the necessary approvals. AggieBuy is accessed through single sign-on, so your AgNet ID and password. And also we always hear, what else can I do in there? What else is there for me other than just purchasing? You can track the progress of your requisitions. Lots of times we'll get emails that say, hey, can you tell me what's going on with this requisition? Or who has it? Or what's the next step? That's all visible in AggieBuy now. It has a live workflow that you can see on your requisition. So as your requisition routes through all those steps for approval, it is actually showing those steps on the side for you so that you can see exactly where it's at, how long it's been there, who it's with, their phone number in case you need to call them and give them a little nudge and say, hey, I need you to approve this. It's all there in AggieBuy for you on your requisition. If something gets stuck somewhere, you can look in AggieBuy, find it, and give that department a call. You can also check the status of your invoice payments. So you have an invoice in progress and you're not sure where it's at, what the problem is, why it hasn't been paid yet. It works the same way as your requisition does. You can go in and look at that workflow and see where it's at and who needs to approve it before that payment can go out the door to your vendor. All of the documents in AggieBuy also have the ability for you to communicate with disbursements or purchasing directly on that document. There is a tab called the Comments tab. You click into that and you can send a comment to any person you'd like. You search for their name, add your comment, question that you have for them, and hit submit. It will then send them an email that says, hey, you have a comment on this requisition or invoice. Go in and look at it and respond. So we are able to keep all of our correspondence on those documents, and we can see what's been said, who's doing what on the order. So there are several types of purchases that we do in AggieBuy, and you may hear us refer to those. The first type is a punch out, and you'll see here I have little icons next to each of those purchase types. Those icons appear in AggieBuy next to your items. So if you're looking at a requisition and you're not sure what type of purchase it is, if you look next to your items, you'll see these little logos, and that's how you can tell what type of purchase it is. So your punch outs look like a little bullseye with an arrow through it. And those punch outs are already set up in AggieBuy for you. They are based off of cooperative contracts or master orders that have been competitively bid already. And a lot of those punch outs have hub partners. So it's an easy way for you to go into the system, shop, and get hub credit. We have punch outs for office supplies, scientific equipment, so your VWR, Fisher, that sort of thing. We have punch outs for those. Promotional items, IT products, those are all available as punch outs in AggieBuy. And again, those punch outs, once you submit your requisition, those do not route to us in purchasing. So those go through the workflow and go out the door without stopping at us. So it's just a quicker process for you if you use those punch outs. There are catalog orders. These are product catalogs that have been loaded into the AggieBuy system. These are not my favorite, I will tell you that, simply because those are typically just list price catalogs. So there's not any sort of discounts applied. So you may possibly be able to get, an educational discount, government discount, new professor discount, that sort of thing, from a company. But these catalog orders do not have those discounts applied to them. So I always suggest if you see an item in there with that little cat logo next to it, I always suggest going out and requesting a quote from the company to see if you can get better pricing via a quote than using the catalog. And also sometimes, since those price lists are maintained by the vendors themselves, not internally like the punch outs are, sometimes that pricing can be out of date. We've seen that where we have orders placed and a vendor comes back and says, oh, actually the price has gone up, it's now this much. So I always put those out there. They are there, they are available for you. Just beware that there are a few quirks to those that aren't as user friendly. But it is a quick way to order in the system as well. Contract items. Those are going to be items that are purchased off of a master order that we have set up in the system. These can be department-specific master orders or system-wide agreements. An example I'll give you is I have a master order that I have set up for our genomics department here on campus for some of their consumable supplies. So they go in and shop off of their short contract where I maintain their list of pricing and items for them. They type in their item, pops up, they enter the quantity they want and submit their order. Those will not route through me because that has already been predetermined. So it kind of works the same way the punch out does. And then we have the non-catalog items. Those have the little blue square with the green arrow coming out of it. That's basically anything else. So if you just have a quote in hand from a random company, that's probably going to be a non-catalog type of purchase. And that's where you basically manually enter in your item description, pricing, and vendor and submit it into the workflow. AggieBuy training. So we offer quarterly business office sessions. We just did one about 2 weeks ago. So our next session is going to be in early to mid-April. Notification of those training sessions go out via an administrative services e-news. Those trainings are geared towards our business office staff, what we call department allocators. And it's for people who are new or need a refresher. Those trainings right now are split up into 3 hour-and-a-half long sessions. I didn't want to bore y'all today with 6 hours worth of training. So I just wanted to give y'all an overview of everything today. And if you need more specific training, you can register for one of those sessions and get more targeted, in-depth information where we really go through the program and talk about step by step how to enter that information. At this time, we're not offering any formal end user shopping sessions. That being said, if your department has an interest in that, we are willing to set those up on an individual departmental basis. If you'll just email agpurchasing@ag.tamu.edu, we can set that up with your group. We also have, during those quarterly trainings, we have a purchasing and hub training session as well. So if you need just more generic purchasing how-tos, there's also a session that we offer then as well. And we have several different contacts that you can reach out to for help if you're working through AggieBuy and get stuck somewhere. So we have the AggieBuy vendor help group. That's going to be for setting up vendors in the system, adjusting vendor payment terms, that sort of thing. That group is housed within A&M rather than AgriLife. The AgriLife AggieBuy help desk is going to be for your generic questions that you may have. You're not sure who to direct it to, you can send it to that AggieBuy help desk and we'll get it to the correct department. That is also where you can send your request to add ship to addresses. So the ship to addresses in the system are hard coded in for us. You can't just free form any address in that you'd like. So if you come across a time when you're trying to have something shipped somewhere and you can't find the address, if you just email the AggieBuy help desk, we will put in that request for you to have it added. That help desk is manned here in AgriLife by Amanda Pelton, who's in charge of access and security, as well as myself and Kim Payne from disbursements. So we all kind of keep an eye on that and answer questions as they come in. If you have questions related to purchasing, feel free to give myself a call, or you can email our generic ag purchasing address. That's going to be anything related to purchasing procedures, requisitions, finding hub vendors, or completing receiving in the system. And then, of course, if you have questions about paying invoices, that sort of thing, you can reach out to accounts payable or disbursements for assistance.
One question in the chat. Where do we send an email to set up a one-on-one individual training on how to shop or search for a product with a vendor?
Yeah, so you can email agpurchasing@ag.tamu.edu. And I can also get in and show y'all. If y'all would like, I can show y'all how to look for a certain product in AggieBuy.
Yeah, why don't you try a computer, like a laptop or something? That might be a common thing that people would look at.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Let me get logged back in here. Sorry, I have too many monitors open and not enough screen on my desk for this. Okay. So once you're inside of AggieBuy, your screen may open up to something different than mine. This is my homepage because this is where I work from all the time. But let's say you come in and you go to the shopping homepage. This is where most new people's screens will open to automatically, is this page. All of these vendors here, these are our punch out catalogs. So let's say you need, we'll do the laptops are kind of difficult. So AgriLife IT requests that all all IT purchases, especially laptops, go through their tech buy program so that they're able to upload all the software and everything they need onto the laptop before it goes out to you. But we do still have these computer vendors out here for Dell, Avanext, Apple products. That's going to be this 12th Man Technologies. So let me show you a different punch out, just because the tech buy program is pretty specific that they want you to run through them.
Somebody was asking if they could buy something like stainless steel for research. Is that something maybe we can look up?
So stainless steel may be something, if we're just talking like sheets of stainless steel, I don't know if that's going to be available on a punch out. That may be more of a non-catalog item where you just get a quote from a vendor and enter it in. So this is a Tejas punch out. This is going to be our office supplies. So when you go into the punch out, it takes you to a company's website that they've set up for us, and you can shop on it. So just like you normally would in your personal life. So let's say we need black pens. Go in, search for it, find the items that you need, and we can order those and add them to our cart. When I see my cart here, if everything looks correct, I would hit submit order. And what that does is that takes you back into AggieBuy and starts a requisition or a shopping cart for you. When you scroll down, you'll see here, sorry, I already have items in my cart. You'll see that Tejas Office Products is here, and here are our pens. If you are an end user and you don't typically put accounts on things, you leave that to your business office, you can just come to the Proceed to Checkout button and you can submit your order. And you'll see here on the right-hand side, this is where I was talking about that live workflow. So right now, this is a draft requisition. The next step is that it will go to my department allocator for them to add an account and review. It will budget check, then go to a specialized approval folder. It will budget check again, and then it will issue a PO. If I need to know who's my department allocator, where is this routing to, I can click on that and it will tell me, because of the accounting information I have entered in here, it's going to route to 06 VLAM department allocators for approval. If I change that, that workflow will change as well. So now you'll see my department allocator has changed to the TAYS department allocator. Specialized approval. Because I have some information that isn't on this requisition right now that's required, it's going to route to a catch folder that basically says, hey, there's no info here. We can't send it out the door to a vendor without information here. It will go to this catch folder and somebody will notify me that I'm missing information. So there's really, it's really hard to issue an order that's incomplete, if that makes sense, because there are so many checks and balances to the order. As far as buying the stainless steel, yes, that is something that you can do in AggieBuy. You would get a quote from whatever company you're purchasing from, go to the shopping homepage, and click on this non-catalog item link. It will then prompt you to enter a supplier name. So this is where you would enter your company. So let's say you're buying your stainless steel from VWR. as you start to type in your vendor name, it will start to provide a list for you and eliminate it down as you type. So we're going to order from VWR International. You enter your product description. A catalog number is required. So you would enter an item number or product number if you have it. If not, you can just enter NA. The quantity that you're purchasing, and the unit price for it. If it's 900 each, or 900 drums of stainless steel, or 900 balls of stainless steel. There's a lot of different packaging requirements here that you can enter in as well. So we're going to do 900 cans and hit save. That adds that to your cart for you. I'm going to delete out these old ones that we did. And when you view your cart, it will pull it up, showing the company here and your item description, quantity, and unit price here. Again, if you had an account, you would hit proceed to checkout, enter your accounting information, and then hit submit. If you don't have an account, that's something your business office does for you. You can just submit the order and it will go to them for them to add an account. Let's see, Melissa had a question. In my case, I would need to buy a 1/4 pound and or 2-ounce paper tray product from a restaurant supply vendor, of which currently I'm finding a little hard to find lately. I noticed there were a few restaurant supply store companies in AggieBuy. Yes, if they are in AggieBuy, you are more than welcome to search those products and use them if it's something you can find. If not, you can reach out to them and get a quote and enter it as a non-catalog item requisition. Okay, and Juan has a question. We have ordered items and received them, but months later, the vendor is contacting us that they have not been paid. Is there a way we can see the vendor has been paid? Yeah, of course. So let's say we have a purchase order that we did. So I'm going to find a PO that I've done recently. And this works for invoices as well. So I'm going to scroll down to one of these older POs that I've done. And let's see. So on this purchase order, you see here at the top, there's an invoice tab. When you click on that, it will show you that we have one invoice. The payment status says paid. If you need more information than just that, you can click into the invoice itself. And here in this top right-hand corner under the external notes section, it gives you all of the payment information. So Campus Code 06, fiscal year 2023, it was paid on this voucher number. This is your ACH number that you can give to the vendor. $9,000 was paid, and it was paid on January 30th of this year. If you're ever unable to find your invoice, you're always welcome to reach out to disbursements, and they can search for that document for you to see if it's been received and entered into the system, and if it has been entered in, what the holdup may be. Sometimes it's just we haven't done a receipt yet. So typically for payment, our standard payment terms are net 30 days after receipt of invoice or receipt of item, whatever's later. So typically we would wait the 30 days before we really start worrying about has that payment gone out to the vendor. AggieBuy is programmed to hold that payment for the full 30 days before it releases it. So even if we got the products on January 1st, we got the invoice on January 1st, AggieBuy will still hold on to that money until 30 days has passed, then it will release it. Basically, we'd rather hold that money in our bank account than in the vendor's bank account for those 30 days. Are there any other questions? Did I cover? I know this is a very short session, so I don't want to pretend like I'm going to get it all covered today. But if there's anything else that y'all need to see, I'm more than happy to show y'all. Okay, so Melissa had a question about delivery. Does it provide you an estimated date of delivery? And can we provide some type of delivery instructions to only deliver between certain days and times? Yes, absolutely. So as far as estimated date of delivery, it kind of depends on the item you're buying. Some of the items in the punch out will tell you the estimated delivery. If you are doing a non-catalog item requisition, so you just got a quote from the company and you are entering that into AggieBuy by hand, that would be something that you would have to ask the sales rep on what the estimated delivery is. Sometimes it's on the quote for you. That can be accurate. Sometimes they're not super accurate because it's just a standard thing they print on their quotes. So I always suggest asking the sales rep what that estimated delivery time is. If it's a purchase order that has come through our office, we will try to get that information for you and include it on our purchase document. If you ever have any questions on that for us, feel free to shoot your buyer an email and they can answer that for you. As far as providing delivery instructions goes, we can add that. There is a section on our purchase orders. Let me just show you one. So right here on our purchase orders, there is a section for us to make notes to the suppliers, and we can add in whatever information we'd like there. So if y'all have certain delivery requirements, you can put those in the note to supplier section that shows up on the requisition as well. So you're able to enter it, submit it into routing, and then when we get it here in purchasing, we see that you've made a note about delivery, and we will include that for the vendor. We have some departments that like to have a phone call in advance to let them know that a shipment is coming so that they can make sure that someone is at the location to receive it. And so we have some purchase orders that say, please contact Dr. X at this phone number prior to delivery. Some vendors add the credit card fee and the total is different than submitted. Is there a problem with payment for this? So if you're paying via credit card, that is not going to come through AggieBuy. That will be done on your Pro card. Now we do have some vendors who will give you a quote and not include shipping charges. And so you may enter an order into AggieBuy that doesn't have shipping, and then you get an invoice that now has an extra $100 of shipping added to it. That will only be a problem if you're using state funds for the purchase. State funds require that you have those funds encumbered ahead of time, so they would ask you to put that shipping on a local account. Other than that, all you have to do is submit a change request in the system. Those are done on the purchase order by going to the change request tab, creating one, and then you make the necessary changes. So if you needed to add a line item for shipping, you would come in to your items, select add non-catalog item, and add an item for that extra amount that was not originally included on your order. The change request would then route just like the requisition does for the necessary approvals, and then it'll come to the buyer here in purchasing to approve.
Do you think you could show us? I've thought there was a website that y'all had that had a bunch of resources like where you can look up a catalog number or talk about like adding a vendor to AggieBuy. Do y'all have that still? Could you show us
Yeah, we sure
that?
do. You are just ahead of me. So we do have a website. It is maintained by the AggieBuy administrators at A&M. Let me pull that up for you. The address for that is aggiebuy.tamu.edu/index.html. I will copy that and put it in the chat for y'all as well. And this website contains some really great information. It has this resources tab that just includes our frequently used commodity codes for our invoices that aren't related to a PO. That's going to be more directed towards your department allocators than your end users. Also, the biggest one is probably this training tab. So if you click on training, we have these quick reference guides. And these guides are so helpful. So let's say, you took training at one of the quarterly training sessions, you haven't had to use it for 3 months after that, and now you've forgotten how to do a non-catalog order. You can come in, pull this quick reference guide, and it goes through step by step how to submit a non-catalog requisition. It's got all the pictures, call outs, arrows pointing you exactly where to go, what to click on, that sort of thing. So these are extremely helpful. Lots of times when I have people submit questions, I answer the question and attach that quick reference guide for them so that they have it for the next time. And I never hear from them again. So I'm hoping that's good news and that those reference guides are really helping out. So we have all those quick reference guides there for you. And we also have vendor resources. So if you have vendors that need to set up their profiles in the system or anything like that, you can direct them to this website as well. And like I said, this is all maintained by Texas A&M's, the university's AggieBuy admin team. And if you ever forget who to contact with questions, that's going to be under the contact section, system parts 06 and 07. And here's all of our contact info as well. Great question, Lindsay. Do I have any other questions, concerns? Is everybody just as lost as when we started? And again, if y'all need more information, more one-on-one training, we have those quarterly trainings that happen. Again, the next one will be in April. And if you need one-on-one like shopping training, I'm more than happy to set that up with you guys as well. I do all of those trainings. So you can just shoot me an email or that agpurchasing@ag.tamu.edu email address to set that up.
This might be a stretch of a question, but you talked about, I believe it's the university business, the controller connection. Do you know how people get access to that mailing list? Because that might be something that just some people aren't getting, some administrators might need. Do you know how we get added to that mail list?
So the controller connection is a different mailing list than our admin services e-news. So our AgriLife quarterly training sessions go out on the e-news that's done through AgriLife.
Okay.
If you are not receiving those, that will probably need to go to Gina Conderla South here in Admin Services to have you added. As far as the controller connection, that is maintained by the university. I'm not sure who exactly you would need to reach out to, but I can find that out if y'all need.
Okay, I think it might be just good for people to know that, but could you type that AgriLife connection name in the chat just so people can reference it? Because I know sometimes we have like new administrators join and there are mailing lists that they might need to get connected to that they either don't have access to or it kind of just falls off the cracks and then it's oh wait, I could have been receiving this e-news and I just happened. So
Yeah, of course, I'll add that in.